The Halloway Hotel had been closed for over 30 years, yet it still stood like a rotting skeleton at the edge of town, its shadows stretching across the cracked pavement like an accusation. No one in Greystone ever talked about it for long. Even the bravest who mentioned it did so in a low voice, their eyes darting around as though the mere act of speaking its name could summon something from within. And at the heart of all the rumors was one, Place Room 6. Every story about it was worse than the last. A man who went inside to sleep off a drunken night, never to be seen again. A teenage couple who dared each other to spend an hour there. The next morning, the police found only their shoes neatly placed by the bed. A maintenance worker sent to fix a leak who radioed in a single panicked word, teeth, before the line went dead. Over time, the locals learned to avoid it altogether. Kids would cross the street rather than walk in front of the building. Taxi drivers refused to even slow down if they had to pass it at night. But to Mia, Jordan, Ethan, and Lisa, those stories were nothing more than content. They had been running their small YouTube channel for a year, documenting urban legends and haunted places. Business had been slow, but they knew that if they got footage inside room 6, they'd finally go viral. It was Jordan's idea. We can't just keep filming dumb haunted houses and creaky basements. He told them one night, hunched over his laptop in Mia's living room. We need something real. Something dangerous. The kind of place that nobody else has the guts to film. And he turned the screen toward them, showing grainy black and white photos of the Halloway Hotel. This is it. Ethan leaned back in his chair, frowning. You're talking about breaking into the most infamous death trap in the county. Every single story ends the same way. People go in, they don't come out. Exactly, Jordan said with a grin. Think about it. If we come out alive, people will lose their minds. Millions of views, sponsors. This is our chance. Lisa rolled her eyes. Or it's our chance to get murdered by whatever's in there. Do you even believe in that stuff? Jordan hesitated just long enough for Ethan to notice. Mia stayed quiet. She didn't believe in ghosts, not really, but she did believe in the strange, heavy feeling she got whenever she passed the hotel. It was like the air there was thicker, pressing down on her lungs. She never said it out loud, though. She didn't want to sound paranoid. 2 weeks later, on a rain-slick Friday night, they stood outside the crumbling building. The street was silent except for the hiss of rainfall. The hotel's once grand facade was a mess of peeling paint, broken windows, and black water stains. The front doors were chained shut. But Jordan had found another way in a narrow alley where a back window had been shattered years ago. This is it, he whispered, clutching the camera to his chest like a lifeline. Inside, the air was stale and wet, the smell of mold and rust filling their noses immediately. Their flashlight beams caught glimpses of collapsed ceilings, water-damp wallpaper curling like dead skin, and furniture covered in thick, furry layers of dust. Every step they took echoed far too loudly, like the building was listening. This place is a dump, Lisa muttered, stepping over a fallen beam. I'm more worried about the floor caving in than ghosts. They explored the ground floor, filming hallways lined with doors that hung crookedly from their hinges. Something about the silence was wrong. It wasn't the kind of quiet you get in an empty building. It was the kind of quiet that felt intentional. like the place was holding its breath. Eventually, they found the staircase. Room 6 was on the 3rd floor. As they climbed, the temperature dropped. Mia pulled her jacket tighter. "Is it just me? Or is it colder up here?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "Yeah." "And do you guys smell that?" The metallic temps hit them all at once, sharp, bitter, like old coins or fresh blood. It grew stronger with every step until they reached the 3rd floor, where the hall stretched out in both directions like a dark throat. Room 6 was at the very end. The number on the door was barely hanging on. The brass tarnished to a deep green, the wood was warped and splintered, streaked with dark stains. Jordan ran his hand across it, then quickly pulled away. "It's warm," he said, frowning. Lisa laughed nervously. "Okay, that's creepy. Let's just get this over with." Jordan aimed the camera at the door. Moment of truth. The hinges groaned as he pushed it open, and a rush of damp, cold air poured out like the exhale of something that had been waiting. The darkness inside was unnatural. Their flashlights cut into it only a little, as if the shadows were thicker here, resisting the light. The wallpaper had peeled away almost entirely, leaving behind walls that glistened as though wet. The floor was slick underfoot, and the smell of copper was so strong it made Mia gag. Red stains were smeared across the floorboards, splattered high up on the walls, even streaked across the ceiling. "Is that blood?" Ethan whispered. Jordan knelt and touched one of the stains with a gloved finger. His voice shook. "It's not dry." That was when they saw the figure in the corner. At first, it looked like a mannequin's forward limbs. Too long, head hanging low. Its skin was gray, stretched tight over its bones. Then it twitched. Mia froze. "Jordan, we need to leave." The figure's head snapped up. Its eyes glowed faintly in the beam of the flashlight, deep red, like hot coals. Its mouth opened slowly, too wide, revealing jagged, uneven teeth dripping with thick black slime. The door slammed shut behind them with a deafening bang. The thing moved. It was fast blurring across the room with a sickening, inhuman speed. It hit Ethan first, tackling him to the ground. His scream filled the room as the creature's teeth sank into his neck, ripping out chunks of flesh. Blood sprayed across the walls, warm and steaming. Lisa ran for the door, pounding on it until her hands bled. She screamed for help, but the only answer was the wet sound of tearing meat behind her. Something cold and slick wrapped around her. "Ankuru!" She looked down and screamed, rotting. Hands were reaching up through the floorboards, their skin black and peeling, nails long and yellow. They dragged her down as though the wood were water, her body sinking into the floor. She thrashed and kicked, but within seconds, only her face remained above the boards, her mouth open in a final, silent scream before she was gone. Jordan backed away, his camera shaking in his grip. The shadows in the corners of the room seemed to move, writhing like living things. They reached for him, curling around his arms and legs, dragging him backward. His flashlight fell, rolling across the floor and casting wild beams of light before it went dark. His scream was cut off abruptly, as though someone had pressed mute. Mia was alone. The creature turned to her. Its mouth split open even wider, stretching impossibly until its jaw cracked. Inside was not a throat, but a swirling black void, like an endless tunnel. The air in the room was pulled toward it, and Mia felt her feet sliding across the slick floor. She grabbed for the wall, her nails tearing against the damp wood, but the pull was too strong. Her scream echoed as she was swallowed whole. Then, silence stopped by morning. Room 6 was empty. No blood, no bodies, no sign that anyone had ever been there. The door creaked shut on its own, and deep inside, something shifted, waiting.
Please like and subscribe channel Fear Frequency for more horror stories. Thank you.